Hello everyone, in this video we will be discussing division with decimals. There are three cases in divisions that involve decimal numbers. First, there is the case that I have a decimal dividend, that is the number being divided. Second is that I have a decimal divisor, that is the number doing the dividing. And third is that I have a decimal quotient, meaning that my result is a decimal number. Let's start from the decimal dividend. In this first case, I have 15.4 divided by 7. I do my division as I would normally, so I would say the 7 go into 1? No. The 7 go into 15? Yes. How many times? 2. 2 times 7 makes 14. 15 take away 14 makes 1. And here's where the decimal point comes in. As I move to this digit to pull it down, I meet the decimal number. And what I do at this exact point is that I put a decimal point in my result. And then I can pull down the next digit, so 4. Does 7 go into 14? Yes, twice. So my result, if I do the subtraction, is 0. Next, I have the decimal divisor. So the 2.5 is a decimal number here. What I have to do here is I have to move the decimal point to the right until this becomes a whole number. So how many places do I have to move it to the right? I have to move it one place to the right. And then I go to my dividend and I multiply it by 10, 100, or 1,000, depending on how many places to the right I moved the decimal point. So since I only moved it once, I multiply with 10. 65 times 10, of course, is 650. And now I can do my division, saying how many times is 25, go into 65, 2, which makes 50. Pull down the 0. And then I say, how many times is 25 go into 150? That would be 6 times. And if I do the subtraction, I'm going to get a 0. And so my result, my quotient, is 26. Next, I have the decimal quotient. Now, as you saw in the first example, I also had a decimal point in my result here, but the difference is that in this division, neither the divisor nor the dividend have a decimal point, but I'm still going to get a decimal point in my result. How does that work? Again, I start my division normally, saying how many times does 8 go into 4? It doesn't. How many times does it go into 43? Goes into 43 5 times. 5 times 8 makes 40. 43 take away 40 makes 3. And here is where it gets kind of tricky. I'm going to erase this line because it's in the way. I don't have any more digits to pull down, so theoretically this is where my division should end, but I have a remainder of 3. So this division is not yet complete. I can continue this division by putting a decimal point in my quotient and then adding a 0 at the end of my remainder and continuing my division, saying how many times does 8 fit into 30? It fits 3 times. Again, I have a remainder, so I need to continue. Again, I can put a 0 at the end of my remainder, and I can continue doing this until I get a remainder of 0, as you will see. I say, how many times does 8 go into 60? 8 goes into 60 7 times. Again, I have another remainder, so again I put a 0 at the end, and I say, how many times does 8 go into 40? 8 goes into 45 times. And now, if I do the subtraction, I'm going to get a 0. And now my division is over. My result is 5.375. And that's all there is to division with decimals. See you on Monday.